Hello guys, my name is Carrie. I'm a chiropractor and today I am reviewing the Nurosym vagus nerve stimulator. I have a very special interest in the vagus nerve and stress regulation or autonomic nervous system health. And so I have slowly been going through devices as I can get my hands on them and reviewing them for you so as to give you a broader range of options, hopefully an educated choice if you decide to go ahead with them. As with all devices, I don't believe that everyone needs them and everyone's nervous system is different. So take what you will from this video. And yeah, hopefully it helps you decide either way if the Nurosym is right for you. So I'm going to go through what it does, how it works, the pros that I've seen, and also some of the cons that I've seen. So you get a really well-rounded video. As with any of my videos, I'm just here chatting as I would to a person. There's no editing, there's no fancy videos here on my YouTube. So I am human. If I mumble or ramble, please excuse me. So let's jump straight into it. So the Nurosym is what they describe, Nurosym themselves describe as AVNT, which is auricular vagus nerve neuromodulation therapy, AVNT. So that's what they've coined. They say it's their novel way of stimulating the vagus nerve. So the Nurosym works with a clip, and the clip has a little electrodes on either side, and you place this over your tragus, which is this part of your ear. So auricular means ear. You place it, you just clip it on. Now, this part is actually really bendy. So depending on the size of your ear, you can like bend it as much as you like. If you have a big ear or a small ear, whatever, it doesn't matter. So you really need to get it so it stays on and comfortable. Once it's on, it's on. The only thing you need to do to help it work is to make sure that area is a bit damp or wet. So just a bit of water is fine. So then you would wet your ear, clip it on, and then your Nurosym will turn on. Kind of comes like that. Firstly, you choose how many minutes. So you can go up or down depending on what you need. I recommend most people start on 10 minutes and see how they feel. 10 minutes is actually quite a lot for a nervous system, in my opinion. However, some of the research suggests 20 to 30 minutes. That's what the studies have been done on. And that's not just with Nurosym, that's with a lot of vagus nerve stimulation. I personally think that's quite a lot for a brand new stimulation into the system. So I would suggest around 10. Once you've chosen your time, then you literally press the square and then it comes to this, and this is your intensity. So you just keep going. Obviously, this is clipped on. You just keep going until you can feel a little tingle. For the majority of my patients, that's been probably between 15 to 24. So it can take a little while because they do suggest you go up slowly so that you don't shock your system. And then you'll feel a tingle eventually. But, if you're closer to 24, that's a lot of pressing ups before you actually feel the tingle. Don't worry, it will come. And then literally you press start, you press the same button and it starts. You can go about your day. It's very gentle. I haven't gone too hard with it. I tend to stick to a really gentle tingle. But you may like it a bit more. There's no evidence that a higher intensity is any better. It's more just about getting that stimulation. So it works by stimulating the sensory fibers of part of the vagus nerve. So the difference with the Nurosym compared to some others on the market is that the location is important in that they have chosen an area that has a really high percentage of fibers that stimulate the anti-inflammatory effects of the vagus nerve. So they activate the pathways that reduce inflammation and support autonomic health rather than stimulating the entire vagus nerve, which would happen, say, if you had like the implant, surgical implant, which I know is like not on the cards for many of you, but just as a comparison, it is a much more specific stimulation because it's only on one side. They do recommend left ear. Originally, most of the research was left-sided because they thought that right side maybe impact the heart. That research has so far been debunked, but majority of companies, just for safety, just for reducing any risk profile, like potential risk, because there's always things we don't know, they're sticking to that left-hand side. So that's kind of how it works. Some pros have been that it's very, very easy to use. There's a low barrier to use. You just need water. So it's the only one that I've tried that doesn't need gel for conduction. So it only needs the damp skin. So that has made it really easy for me to implement in my practice. So I've tried this on a lot of people now. I haven't been tracking my data, so I can't give you any information on what it's done for my HRV simply because I'm still up half the night breastfeeding in a postpartum period. So my HRV, I know, is going to depress me. So I've opted not to track my any data in this season of my life. However, what I did notice for myself is when I used it for 10 minutes each day, it definitely made me feel calm and clear-headed. And a lot of the research that Nurosym has done around the nervous system, that has been a really common theme for them, has been that cognitive abilities, or like, your thought processes or mental clarity has improved. So Nurosym has done quite a lot of research, and I really love that about Nurosym. They've done a lot of their own research to back their product, and they also do, from my understanding, have a like a sister company that is in hospitals. So they use different equipment, but they have nervous system equipment in hospitals as well. I haven't looked deeply into that, so I don't actually know what products they have in the hospital. So that's some wins. Yeah, it's easy to apply. The people who have trouble with the Nurosym are people who have a very small tragus. So I actually had a few women in my practice who I could not get it to comfortably clip on. It just kept sliding off. So either the size or the angle of that part of the ear, it just was not working for them. So that's definitely a con if you have teeny tiny ears or your tragus seems really small. Like, I think if you can grip it with your fingertips, you'll be fine. But if it's any smaller than that, I probably wouldn't suggest it. You may like another one that I'm reviewing soon that I will put a video up. One person experienced pain, so like a sharp shooting pain. When she used it, we stopped immediately. Everyone else experienced a lot of calm and yeah, a lot of regulation. Sorry, a quick pause. Of course, my husband interrupted me. So they're probably, yeah, they're the biggest cons that I've seen, the clipping on and the pain. But as I say, it's only one person who experienced that level of pain. Majority of people were really comfortable with the tingle. They found it easy to install. The other con that I have with the Nurosym, which may not be a big deal for some people, but you kind of clip it on, and I would put it on at the start of a shift. So before I start with patients, say I'm cleaning up the clinic or doing some admin, etc., I would put it on then just to kind of set me up for a good day. And when it's on, there are, let's see if I can just quickly put it on for you actually. Just give it a sec to load. So there's a blue dot. So I've just put it on. There's a blue dot down the bottom here. This goes on when you know it's on. The problem being that when your time is up, the blue light just turns off, but it doesn't really let you know. And your nervous system kind of accommodates to the tingle. Maybe I'm doing it a bit too gentle, but I'd rather be safe than go too hard. So you kind of like do your 10 minutes, and if you're caught up in something else, then you may not even realize that it's turned off. You may be like, oh, actually, I don't know if I can feel that tingle anymore, and you check and the blue light has turned off. So it does identify whether it's on or off, but I do find it's like not very eventful kind of thing, like I have another, the Resimax will do like a little double vibration right at the end on some of the settings to let you know, hey, that's the end. And I kind of like that it's tactile and you get to know when the end is coming, because you can just drop in, right? You don't have to be watching the clock. So that's a bit of a con as well. As I say, not a huge one. However, it's a little bit annoying. So if you're, say, dropping into a meditation, or you're really taking that time to just sit with your nervous system, again, you may not particularly notice it's finished, and if you're anything like me, you might find yourself watching the clock, and then that kind of defeats the purpose if you're using it for mental health reasons or for relaxation reasons. So there's that. Nurosym does have a lot of research around their product, and they talk a lot about long COVID and POTS, and they have had some pretty remarkable changes in autonomic function and daily quality of life for these clients. So if that is something you suffer with and you're looking into the vagus nerve to support that, then Nurosym has done a lot of focused research in those areas. So that may be one that you like to consider. You should be able to find their research online. And the other thing that is really important to remember when we're stimulating the vagus nerve, and something that I talk to all my clients about, is that it's not going to be the cure-all for everything, right? It can support a reduction in pro-inflammatory pathways. So it turns off inflammation, which can be a really good thing in these chronic diseases where we just can't seem to catch the inflammation. So that's really helpful. However, if you have lots of other layers happening in your nervous system and your health, then it's not going to be the magic pill that fixes everything, but it is absolutely going to take the edge off. And that's how it felt for me. It just really took the edge off, and I felt like my energy I could get through the day without it kind of like peaking and troughing so much. So I just felt like more energetically stable throughout the day, rushing to drop kids at school and then seeing patients and then going back to school. Like I live quite a busy life when I'm on my work days. So I did find that was really, really helpful. There was something else I wanted to mention. So the Nurosym, price-wise, is more expensive. That can be a con, that can be a pro. So it doesn't come with any ongoing subscriptions. You pay one fee and then that's it. You don't have to buy, download the app and then buy extras in the app. It's simplified in that sense, but in that sense, it only really has one setting. So some of the others may have different settings where the frequency stimulates the vagus nerve differently. Nurosym has only one. However, they do have a lot of research on the conditions that it does support. So if you're looking for help with a specific condition, such as the POTS or the long COVID or anything else, you may want to do a little deep dive into Nurosym if they've done research on your specific condition. The other thing to note is that the biggest changes in their research was found to be with people who had, poor vagal activity or poor autonomic function in the first place. So the people who see the biggest shifts, and this often goes for everything, right? But the people who see the biggest shifts with vagus nerve stimulation in their HRV, in their symptomatic relief, tend to be the ones who had the worst nervous system to begin with, if you don't mind me being so blunt. So the worse your nervous system is, the bigger the shift you will see, right? Because there's more room to go. But if you already are pretty good, maybe you're a biohacker, your diet, your lifestyle, you're going to therapy, you're doing all the stuff that supports your nervous system already, then it's not going to give you like this mind-blowing change in your nervous system. It's absolutely going to support it. And maybe it's something that gets you over that final hump if you're in that category. But the healthier your HRV and the healthier your nervous system, the less of a change you will feel symptomatically. And that's been reported in their studies tracking people using their AVNT device. So that's all I have to share. I'm so happy to answer any questions. I'm sure I have forgotten something along the way. Super happy to, as I say, answer any questions below in the comments. I personally put my money down to get this Nurosym. This was not a gift. They do have a program for practitioners where you get access to their CPD, which is like, their professional development training, which I love because it means that I knew buying this Nurosym that I was going to be supported in understanding how it works. And that's the whole point of doing these reviews, right? Is to actually get to the bottom of how it works and what it's doing for people. And so their educator training came for free as part of their practitioner program. So I have done that, which was, really helpful. But this was not gifted to me. This was, I was confident enough to give that a go, and I have implemented it into my practice. So people can, if I feel a client is ready to use it, I will allow them to use that as part of their consults, which I love. And however, as part of reviewing products, I do have a code and an affiliate link below. So if you enjoyed this video and if you found it helpful in your decision, I would really love for you to use my discount code, and that supports me in purchasing more products so that I can review them for your safety. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you for the next one.